Welcome to Women Who Brand, a podcast that spotlights inspiring women in the creative industry. I'm Alejandra Salazar, founder and CEO of CROING, which is part of the 0.1% of creative agencies founded by a woman, and I'll be your host today. This podcast is part of an initiative of CROING to inspire women in the industry by sharing the journey and insights of those who are leading the way. Women Who Brand are creative, strategic, and visionary forces in the world of marketing. They make an impact in both the role and the industry as a whole. Whether through campaigns, storytelling, or experiences, they shape how people perceive, interact with, and remembers a brand. In this episode, we talk with Amy Mansell, the Global Partnership Director at Elemis. She shared everything about their partnership with the F1 Aston Martin Aramco team, their new brand ambassador Jessica Hawkins, and most importantly, how exciting and meaningful it is to be writing the playbook of women in sports. She opened it up about what it means to be a beauty brand in this space and how this moment and movement could change the lives of little girls. From feeling invited to celebrate as a fans to dreaming of joining the sports as a drivers and everything in between. It was a pleasure to hear firsthand everything Elemis is doing and what's coming and how Amy's leadership and background are shaping what that looks like. If you're trying to get your brand into sports or simply looking to engage your audience where they are, even if it hasn't been done before, this episode is for you. Now please join me in welcoming our next woman who brands, Amy Mansell. Amy, thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm delighted to be here.
I'm so happy you're here. And for those who don't know her, Amy Mansell is the Global Partnership Director at Elemis, which is such an amazing brand that we love at CROING. Amy and I met this year during the Grand Prix week in Miami. What a week, right?
It was mad.
Yeah, it was crazy. Amy was a speaker on the panel organized by the Female Quotient, where we discussed how the most impactful partnerships drive performance possibilities and push boundaries, as is the case with Elemis partnership with F1, basically, which we will talk about later, so I don't want to spoil anything here. But I heard you in the panel and thought you will be a great guest to talk about the role of beauty and skincare and these new partnerships with sport, which to me, it just makes sense, but it's something new, like we haven't seen in the past years, and you guys are pretty much dominating it, doing just an amazing work. We got some products from you at the event, which are the best. We had the experience of working with L'Occitane in Chile. We did it for like 6 years. Also Sol de Janeiro, so you are part of the family that we love. Amy, what led you to pursue a career in marketing and how do you feel in your current role?
So I studied law at university. I think it was pretty quick in my law degree. I was like, I don't think I want to be a lawyer forever. I specialized in criminal and terrorism law and decided that actually I wanted to do something a little bit more creative. And I ended up applying to L'Oreal's graduate scheme to go on the marketing side of things. I'd always just been interested in advertising and creative and how you bring a brand to life. So when I left uni, I went to L'Oreal on their graduate scheme, which was amazing. But when I'd been at university, my summer job to earn money had been working in motorsports, events and hospitality. So I think I've been in it since I was like 16 or 17. So I did a couple of years at L'Oreal, absolutely loved it. But then there was an opportunity to step into kind of sports marketing, and it was when my two worlds kind of came together, and I've been in that area ever since. In terms of the role now, it really is a dream role for me with my two worlds colliding with beauty and motorsport. And I think there's some projects that sometimes come along your desk and some opportunities that are the ones that are passion projects, because I've worked in Formula One for nearly 20 years. When I started, it was such a male dominated industry. There was really not a huge amount of representation from a female perspective in the sport, and it is changing so much. And to be the first beauty brand going into Formula One with our partnership as official skincare partner to the Aston Martin Aramco Formula One team, we've kind of come in and first movers in space. It's a really bold and disruptive partnership, and I'm honestly really honored to be leading that partnership and to be showing up for both the female fans and for the women within motorsport itself.
Makes me so happy. We had here the vice president of marketing at NFL, and it's just so inspiring to listen to you because it's really changing everything. I have a couple of thoughts that I want to share, but let's move forward with you first. So in recent years, we've seen this significant growth and interest in skincare and self-care. And you leading these partnerships with F1. I want to know, how do you evaluate or know whether an idea or an initiative of a partnership is the right one? Do you follow a specific process or is more of a feeling?
I love this question. For me, it's a bit of a mix of strategic process and then gut instinct. So I'll always start by asking the question, does this align with our brand's values or our long-term vision? And that's obviously core. It has to be there strategically. But then I really look for the spark, right? The unexpected angle or the bold move that makes people stop and think. And I think that our partnership with Formula One and the Aston Martin F1 team is a great example of that. On the surface, beauty and motorsport don't necessarily seem the most kind of obvious partnership, but actually 41% of fans now in the sport are women, and there's not very many brands that are really showing up for them. Also looking to drive representation within the sport itself in terms of women in engineering or in mechanics or the racing drivers that are female. We've also done an ambassadorship with Jessica Hawkins, who's the Aston Martin Aramco driver ambassador as well, to help kind of drive that inclusivity within the sport as well.
I want to talk a little bit about your role because I guess and I hope in the role you are, your ideas might be heard by your team members, but throughout your career, how do you ensure your voice and creative ideas were heard, especially in your industry, which, as you mentioned, is male dominated?
Yeah, for me, I think it's more than just speaking up. It's about bringing kind of clarity, conviction, and also a sense of collaboration to the table. I believe that the best creative ideas are the most powerful when they've got some purpose behind them and they are presented in such a way that you're inviting other people in. So whether I'm pitching, disruptive brand moments like our partnership with Aston Martin Aramco, or if it's, shaping long-term strategies, I always try to build a clear narrative around the why this matters, who it serves, how it drives mutual value. And then I think over time, people start to trust that when you bring an idea forward, it's not just bold, but it's also considered, it's credible, and it's worth listening to.
I asked that question because even if you're starting your career or if you're in a top leadership position, still, like, how do you share an idea, especially if it's an unexpected one, and make sure people listen and follow a little bit?
It does take confidence to have conviction on what you believe and what you say. That's also learned,
That's true. So, as a marketing leader, what trend in marketing excites you the most right now and why?
I think playing into what we were talking about, that deeper integration between sport and lifestyle at the moment is really exciting for me. There's this growing cultural overlap between luxury, sport, and it's really redefining what partnerships look like. Not just from Elemis being the first beauty brand in with our partnership with Aston Martin F1 team, but even wider in F1, LVMH doing their 10-year deal as official partner to Formula One across a multitude of different brands that they're bringing to the table, or even Lululemon doing an ambassadorship with Lewis Hamilton. It's really kind of redefining that landscape, and that's
100%.
incredibly exciting to me. And then I think the other element that I'm really looking forward to kind of exploring more is the deeper storytelling around women in sport, behind the scenes, whether it's engineers, whether it's fans, and kind of really shining a spotlight both on the athletes and the performers, but then also on the female fans, because most female sports fans have only become so within the last 5 years, and as a group, they haven't got cultural habits yet. They're still being formed, which to me is such an exciting time. There's no mandate. How do you show up as a female sports fan? That's being created at the moment, and that's a moment in time that I'm really excited to explore.
Yeah, it's first timers. So I think it's a great opportunity for brands like yours, for example. And honestly, a lot of brands. I always say that in female sports and female fandom, we are writing a new playbook. It's definitely not the same, but like 100%. The way we behave, and it's passionate. We're really passionate. It's so beautiful to see brands building this together with the fans.
We consume sport differently. So how as a brand we show up and operate, it needs to be different. It needs to have standouts. So that to me, when you're doing something a bit bold and different, is where magic happens.
Talking about like audiences and fans, which in your opinion is the easiest and hardest target audience to reach right now, and why?
I think that each, demographic presents its own unique set of challenges and opportunities for brands. It's really important to recognize the different cultural nuances, the generational preferences, the different communication style. I don't think there's that one size fits all approach. When we're talking to our younger fans and consumers, it's what's resonating with them. It's empowerment, it's purpose, it's wellness, it's that kind, that's what's really landing with them at the moment. Whereas from an Elemis side of things, our traditional core audience is more focused on heritage and credibility in the proven results. So it's about tailoring the message to which audience we're speaking to and making sure that we're not isolating any at one given time, because they can work harmoniously together.
Yeah, I agree. Our audience here in the podcast include many women in the industry who hold high-level leadership positions, and yet, even with all their knowledge and experience, it can still feel challenging to put themselves out there and start building a personal, professional brand. I mean, I saw you speaking, you are here, which proved me that you are, in that journey. So I really wanted to know from you, what has it been building this personal professional brand? When did you decide to start doing it? And most importantly, is there something rewarding that has happened to you so far because you decided to start?
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of putting myself out there, it's been a conscious decision, but it's also been driven by demand and interest in the partnership that I'm leading because it is so groundbreaking and disruptive. There's been a lot of attention on it. And I guess that I've recognized that as a leader, especially in a role that is about breaking down boundaries and driving inclusivity, part of my role is to give voice to that strategy and the values behind that bold move. It's not just about visibility, it's also about that advocacy piece. And if we want to push boundaries, then we have to be willing to step forward and represent the brand with authenticity. And, the more I can go out there and share that message and hopefully inspire people and communicate what we're doing, then hopefully the wider the reach that we'll have. And I think in terms of what's been the most important part of that is the amount of people that I've had reach out to me, whether it's through LinkedIn, coming up to talk to me about these panels, whether it's someone that's still at school or just graduated university who's inspired to go into the industry and was perhaps nervous or didn't see it as an area that, as a woman, they'd be able to make boundaries. When I hear stories like that and people are inspired by what we're doing, that makes it absolutely worth it. And that's the motivation that, really drives me. And I've got a little girl, she's 3 years old. And when I turn up to work and I feel like I'm different or what we're doing is making a difference as a girl mom, that makes it, all the more personally kind of a passion project for me.
Of course, of course. Every time I hear or we collaborate with any brand activated in sports, targeting female fan or female sport, the stories there are just so powerful. I saw the collaboration between A1A, which is the Kendall Jenner brand, with NASCAR. So when I saw it, I felt something so weird. I mean, I loved it, but I was like, this feeling. And then I remember when I was 5 years old, my neighbor, he used to have his room full of cars. It was all NASCAR. And I remember going there so excited because I just loved it. But I never thought, it wasn't even in my mind to ask my mom, oh, I also want, a room full of cars, because it wasn't for me. And then when I saw this, it's the first time in my life that I thought I could have had that room if I wanted to. But, but I never saw it. No, I really believe it will change how girls perceive themselves, perceive their passions and the things they like and they love.
Yeah, both in terms of fans of sports, but then also, if you're looking at the movement towards trying to get more women as being racing drivers and, the F1 Academy documentary that's out on Netflix now, but we need that. We need young girls to be motivated to go and kart because there's not enough of them at the moment to try to really build that funnel of talent coming up. And essentially, that representation will really drive participation, and that participation 100%. Is what's going to drive progress. So I love that story.
It's beautiful. Last question of this section, which was all about getting to know you better, but there's something I'm missing. So if you were a brand yourself, what would your personal slogan and brand colors be?
I love this. I think the slogan, I quite like short and sweet. I'd be something like boldly considered or something, because I genuinely believe in pushing boundaries and doing things differently, like leading the first beauty brand into the sport. But I think it's about doing it with intention and clarity and purpose. So it's never bold for the sake of it. Yeah, boldly considered. And then in terms of colors, I think I'd be navy and gold. Navy would be kind of calm, grounded, strength, that kind of quiet confidence. And then there's got to be some gold for a bit of sparkle, a bit of creativity, a bit of that kind of magic fairy dust, right?
Love it. I kind of see it. So now we're moving to the second part, which we talk a lot about your collaboration with F1, but I want to know more. I want the audience to understand anything you can share. How did it start? How it's going? And what's coming? Because I feel we are seeing just the beginning of things, and I'm sure there are things you cannot share, but anything you can share about from that partnership and more sports maybe? Like, how did it start and what's the vision?
Yeah, so Elemis is really proud to be the first official skincare partner in Formula One, and it's a bold and culture-shifting move into a space where traditionally beauty brands haven't played. And we saw an opportunity to engage with fast-growing, global, and emotionally engaged audience, of which 41% are women, and very underrepresented for in terms of brands that are in the sport. It's traditionally very tech and very B2B, the
Correct.
brand. So there was that opportunity identified within the sport and seeing it as an area, and also off the back of Drive to Survive, the kind of cultural momentum that's associated with Formula One at the moment, that was very clearly identified. And then when we started looking at team partnerships, Aston Martin was quite honestly the obvious choice there. There's the shared, both strong British brands, strong long heritage, a commitment to their product and performance. So there was a natural synergy there and alignment on the brand values. But it was kind of ran deeper than that British excellence. It was about that shared ambition to challenge norms and to lead cultural change. And Aston are very good at doing that. And also, Elemis is the first B Corp sponsor in Formula One as well. And from a sustainability side of things, Aston Martin F1 team are really driving that towards the sport becoming net zero by 2030. So it was about the kind of two pieces coming together. And it wasn't just about exposure, it was about building a platform where we could lead change and we could break barriers for women both on and off the track. It's where culture is moving, not where beauty brands have traditionally played.
I mean, yeah, I wanted to hear from your own words, but it's clear. Sometimes you don't even need to explain it because it was there. No one did it before. And when you did it, it makes sense.
Makes sense.
It feels natural.
Yeah, and some of the things that we've done, and just as I said, we're only I think 4 months into the partnership, which seems mad,
Wow, yeah.
I know it's so new, but we have built pop-up spas in the Paddock Club suite, which have been so popular. In fact, in Miami, after I left Melquotian, there were queues going out the door of all these men queuing up to have our pit stop treatments that we were doing. So we're taking well-being and beauty trackside and proving that it has a place there. We built a pop-up spa on a yacht in Monaco only a couple of weeks ago. We have got the Airstream. We built an F1 Aston Martin F1 team Elemis Airstream that's got little treatments for our pit stop treatments to take that on tour. That will be launching at the British Grand Prix in a couple of weeks. We've got co-branded kits. So we've done some limited edition collections with the Aston Martin F1 team that we've just launching this week, in fact.
Wow.
Probably one of my favorites is we have built what we call our formula powered car. We've basically made a full-size F1 car made from our Pro Collagen Marine Cream. So it's our formula powered car. And it's just been in the window in Harrods in London for a couple of weeks as part of a brand immersive experience. And we'll be taking it around. And it's really our way of proving that there is a place for beauty and F1 together.
This is just so exciting. And how do you see the future of sports and the brand? Do you see the brand breaking other barriers, not necessarily sports?
I think for Elemis, this is our first kind of dipping our toe into the water of partnerships. The first partnership the brand has ever done. And within a couple of months, we've done the Aston Martin F1 deal and now got Jessica Hawkins as our brand ambassador. Yeah. So we've done quite a lot in quite a short space of time already. And it's a multi-year partnership and we have got a lot of exciting things to come and to build on over the next few years. And moving forwards, we'll certainly be looking at where is culture moving? Where are the opportunities that we can show up? Where is it a bold and an interesting move? Where is there a right brand alignment and strategic positioning? And also that shared ambition, which is something that we have with the F1 partnership that is really integral for us moving forwards to make sure that we have that in any partnerships that we do.
Congrats. You mentioned at the beginning how your two worlds got together. So
Yeah.
I think, it is such a dream job and I'm excited for you and for the journey coming up. Now let's move forward with a quick fire round.
Okay.
Basically, I will ask you things and you will say whatever comes to your mind without thinking that much. Ready? Commercial spot or social media?
Commercial.
Winning an award or achieve results?
Achieve results.
Who creates the company? The audience or the team members?
Oh, first it starts with the team members.
If Elmis were a Formula One driver, who would it be?
That's a great question. I think it has to be Jessica Hawkins. She's our driver ambassador. She represents everything that we stand for as a brand.
Favorite Elemis product you can travel without?
Oh, it's the Pro Collagen SPF 50 with my time in the sun, I'm all about the SPF.
Love it, love it. So to close out this episode, Amy, I will ask you two more questions. So what does it mean to you to be a woman who brands? And what advice would you give to a woman in the creative industry, especially one in a leadership position?
I think for me, to be a woman that brands, it's all about showing up and being able to do my job and have a purpose to it. And that's what kind of motivates me and gets me up every day and making a difference. And in terms of any advice, I think kind of summarizing what we've said today is to not be afraid to be bold and to stand out and to make some noise, because I think that's where magic can happen.
Thank you so much for this amazing interview. I had the best time. Thank you for sharing your insights, for drive us to how this partnership looked like from the beginning to now and what's coming. So I'm really grateful. And to all women who brand, listening or reading, remember your voice matters and your creativity has the power to inspire and lead. Until next time. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you so much.